Why, oh, why you are losing out on so many sales. And yes, in this video, I'm going to share with you the real reason why you are missing out on so many sales and help you to get back in the driver's seat for your performance so that you can continue to add some sizzle to that sales appeal. Hey, if you haven't headed down there and subscribed just yet, if you're loving this, go ahead and take care of that for me. Throw us a thumbs up, a thumbs down if the content's good for you. If it's not good for you, all the feedback is welcome. And by the way, if you want to be notified each and every time we post a new video here on Sales Appeal, then go ahead down there, hit that bell so you can be notified when that happens. And hey, if you didn't know, now you're about to know that these are the same strategies, tried and true methods, and approaches that I have used to do business with Hollywood celebrities, managers, and agents, speak on over 300 stages around the country, cold call into Fortune 100, 500, and 1,000 companies, while also being mentored by top sales titans and business leaders from around the nation. And so with that, let's jump right into this. This is going to be a good one because recently I was just doing a little bit of research and I came across the name Zach Wilson. Now, Zach Wilson was the #2 draft pick that just got drafted in the NFL draft just a short few months ago as the quarterback that went to the New York Jets. And upon reading this article that I came across, for you sports fans, you might understand this, but if not, stay with me here. There's going to be a point. It said that the Jets weren't going to be prepared for what Zach Wilson was going to bring to the table, that he was going to burn them out with how he approached his game and how much of a student he was towards making himself better. Now, why does this matter? Because in sales, I feel like there's a lot of relationship to the sports world. It's very competitive, it's tedious, it's detailed, it's practice driven, it's goal focused, it's performance based. And so there's a lot of similarities. And from my background in having played sports, I understand this to the T. And not only that, it has dawned upon me that in the profession of sales, or even in your own business as an entrepreneurship, the more we can have critical information and data and real record of our performance, the better overall that we can become. So if you've thought to yourself, hey, why aren't I making as many sales as I can? Why aren't as many finishing the process and saying yes? Why aren't they becoming my customer, whether you're in business or you're doing it for another company? This could be right here, the one thing. And it's the same thing that Zach Wilson was noted for coming into his college alma mater, which is now BYU, way early before the office is even open and going home way late after practices, way into the night. And it's the same thing that he's currently applying as told by the Jets coaching staff and players that he's doing in New York City. And that is reviewing the F word. Yes, the F word, and that is film. The film from practice, the film from the games, the film from coverages, from how they line up to the field, observing this man who is a new addition to the National Football League is taking it to a whole nother level and has been as part of his game to make himself the best that he possibly can be in his profession. Now, if you look right down the line in any professional sport, you will notice at the highest level that when performers like Tom Brady or Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, or in football, not just the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers and some of these other characters that do their best and win championships, they will always mention the F word, which is film. Now, how does that relate to us as sales professionals and entrepreneurs of our business? See, what I've realized a long time ago is that the ones that really come out of the gates and win and really position themselves to be top performers and succeed over the long term are the ones that have accurate records and recordings of themselves during their sales interactions and during their sales conversations. Now, how does that look? So let's just say, for example, you are in fact working with a customer and you're preparing to do a demo. Okay, great. Ideally, you're using a software like Zoom. and you are going to hit that good old record button so that you can, in fact, practice reviewing, no different than these professional athletes do, post call at a scheduled time to say, hey, where were some of my hiccups? What were some of the areas that I didn't close the gap on? Hey, what were some of the opportunities to ask the questions that I didn't ask? And how can I close that gap so that for the next call, I'm more prepared during that conversation? You see, it's not just about all these other rah-rah, re-read types of motivation things. While that does matter, this one thing has been the real reason that for me, and I'm sure for other top athletes across the board in professional, you know what, anything, could be validating the very fact that by going back and plugging holes and checking in on yourself as to what you did, why you didn't, did you do it or not do it, you will have the competitive advantage to move forward so that you are in the best possible position to earn the business. Now, we know in sales that you're never going to win all of the business. That's literally impossible, even though it's okay to shoot for that and have the right mindset and intent that, yes, this deal I'm going to earn. This prospect is going to become one with us. I am going to help this person every single time, and they are going to want to do business with us. Realistic? Not really realistic in execution in terms of actualizing that, but in terms of effort and preparation and practice before that and in review, absolutely 100%. So going back to reviewing your calls, cold calling. I know people have that ultimate dread for cold calling, but guess what? What if you could actually pull up an app, or if you're using a phone system that the company has built in for you and they're recording the calls, even better. But if you're on your own and you have to go out to your own devices, which I have done personally for a lot of different reasons, I've I've downloaded an app called Aphonic. And Aphonic has been right by me in each and every conversation, not to the top, but for the most part, where I knew that I wanted to capture the conversation in order for me to be able to review it, to go back and make the necessary improvements. Because you see, feedback is everything. And in the sales world, if we're not getting the feedback that we need, not necessarily even from our bosses, our leaders, our managers, our directors, the owners, the CEO. Sometimes it's just us because we are our own boss. And that's our responsibility to go back and say, hey, this matters to me. So as part of a sales professional and entrepreneur's duty, it is our, and this is the R word, responsibility to take this part of our skills development very seriously, because if we don't, that could be a heavy reason why you're losing sales, and you shouldn't be, because you're not going back and taking the time to review the quote unquote film like the professional athletes do, but review your calls, whether that's the cold call, whether that's the actual presentation or the demo or anywhere in the follow-up, to be able to have a nice piece of accountability and record set up for yourself so that you can put yourself in that position to earn the business, because that is key. Being able to earn your seat at the table is invaluable in life. And so I get it. One of the reasons you might not be doing that is just because you're scared to listen back to yourself. Hey, I've been there, and trust me, I've experienced it. I still don't necessarily like listening to myself, but I know that while I ask myself, hey, I have to go into this, and yes, I have to meet and confront the truth, because the truth is everything about how I approach this. And the question really is this going to make me better? And if it's an obvious answer of yes, then I'm all in, right? So the other thing that might be holding you back from that is the fact that you might not have thought about it. And that's fine, because sometimes we're not always aware of everything that can incrementally help make us better. And so to that thought, my goal here is to make you more aware of it in the same conversation that we're having right here together, to be able to surface that so that next time you set up your shop and your sales cockpit for the next day or even today, that you are thinking about, hey, do I have the tech stack in place to be able to record my conversation so that I can go back at a scheduled time, which is going to lead me to the third thing about why we might not do it, is that it's too busy. I don't have time for that. Well, guess what? You got to make the time. It's non-negotiable. It is everything. Listen, I don't care if it's for 45 minutes at the end of the day. I don't care if it's for an hour and a half at the end of the week, but one must go back and build that into their time block of their day to be able to go back and manage that part. No different than when a football team or an individual comes into the office before practice, leaves late at night, or they have their team film day on Sundays or Saturdays or whatever scheduled day for whatever sport that might be, to go back and do their review. If you study enough into the top performing athletes in the world, you will notice that they are always investing their time and not only studying the film of themselves, but also studying the film of their opponents. And for that reason, it makes us just as adept to being able to do that, to step up and step into what could be an accurate review of our conversations and recordings, so that by the next one, in quote unquote language of sports, by the next game in our course, by the next call, the next interaction, the next demo, I am prepared and I am ready to plug those holes so that we can stop losing sales when we don't have to. All right, are you with me? By the way, hey, if you've liked this so far, head down there and give me a thumbs up. See, sometimes I just I don't edit. Not edited. Give me that thumbs up or that thumbs down. If you didn't like it, I appreciate and accept those too. If you haven't subscribed yet, head down there and give me a nice little hit on the subscribe button. That would be much appreciated. And by the way, a comment would be nice to know. Hey, did you or do you actually go back and review yourself right now? And if you do, how often, right? And if you do that and how often, either way, send me some love in the comments down here so that I can understand how you're approaching this, because I'm very curious and I'd like to know so that we can create a great conversation around that. But in the meantime, you're awesome. Keep up the great work. And I'm glad to be here with you again for today. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.